Hey all, hope you're having a good time off and staying safe and healthy. This video is basically an orientation video. So what I'm going to do is kind of walk you through Power School page, which has been changed to accommodate distance learning, kind of show you what you should be doing on a daily basis and how to go through the course. And I want to go through the syllabus that I created to show you some of the changes that have happened to the course to accommodate distance learning, to make it so that we can be the most productive that we can be over the next few weeks. First thing I want to be able to do is share my screen with you. You'll notice that teachers will be doing this quite often over the course of this time. But let me go ahead and bring up the Power School page for you. Just give me 1 second here. And here you see our new Power School page. What I'm going to do is show you the Power School page for literature, which is essentially the same as the Power School page for language arts. I decided to set the course up in the same way. Both of them, you're going to kind of go through the day's activities in the same exact order. And you can kind of find information on literature and language arts pages in the same exact way. So what you see here for the literature page is exactly the same for language arts. Okay, so here you see the distance learning page. When you come to Power School, this is the page that it should open up to. And on this page, you can find some basic information that you'll need for the overall course. In this block, this video that I'm currently shooting will show up here. So you can watch it whenever you need to if you forget anything. If you look over here, any of the policies or procedures of the class are linked. There's actually files here. For this, the syllabus that we'll look at in a second is posted right here. And then under it are the policies for Westchester, including the class schedules and all the different policies that Westchester has created for distance learning. Underneath here are basically the overall resources that you'll need for this particular course, some links. The important thing to know is that this is kind of just a resource page. You don't really need to go to it every single day, even though your page is going to open up directly to it anyway. But basically, this is a place to go in case you get lost or you need to find a resource that you just can't find on the other pages. You'll see that there are many other pages here. And in fact, what I did was set this up so that you can basically just follow each day according to the pages that I've left you. So if you look up here, welcome to our original page that we've been using all year in the classroom. So you can still go there. You can still find any of the resources there if you want. But what you want to be concentrating on during distance learning is tab. And you notice there's a little arrow next to it. That arrow opens up the menu. And under it, the weeks are placed. There's week 1 and week 2 so far in here. You notice that they're not published yet. And what I plan to do is publish things one day at a time for you. So when you go in here on Monday, what you'll see is week 1 only. Week 2 won't be available to you yet. And you also see that there's another arrow next to it. If you open that up, the days of the week with the date are all placed underneath. Like I said, I'm going to publish them day by day. So when you go here each day, the only thing you should really have to worry about is clicking on the last day that's listed. So for Monday, this will be the only one you'll be able to see. So it's the only choice you have. And then when Tuesday comes, this will be published, so on and so forth. You could also click on the actual weekly tab. So here, week 1. And if you go to that, you'll see that there are all kinds of resources for you there. I would always check this page at the beginning of the week and then go back to it each day if you need to. What I placed here for you are announcements. This one says here, Google Meet live sessions will take place during your scheduled class times on Thursday 4/2 and again on Thursday 4/9. I've already sent you an email invitation to the Google Meet sessions for your particular class period for this Thursday. And I'll do the same thing for Thursday 4/9. I'll also put the links to those meetings in here. They'll show up on the announcements so that you, if you lose your email, you can come to this page and click on it. And I'll also put those links on the Thursday page so that you can just go there at the time of the class, click on it, and enter if you need to. Also on this week 1 page, and then also on the week 2 page, you'll see every week a page will exist like this. But also on here, there is an introduction video for the week. The beginning of the week, you should watch that. You can even watch it on Sunday night if you want to. It'll save you a little bit of time in your Monday lesson. But basically, this will kind of outline for you what we will cover in the class that week and any announcements and reminders, the kind of things that I usually do at the beginning of class that I can't really do anymore because we don't see each other, which is sad to me. You'll also find your resources for the week here, any of the links which I just showed you on the last page. You'll find resources that you might need. For example, you'll be using your study guide for To Kill a Mockingbird this week, and you can find that here as well as on all the other pages. You can also go to your assignment calendar. This is basically your calendar that you've had for Google, for your Google documents throughout the year, and your homework calendar items will show up. Any of the days that you see that have red or pink, I'm sorry, that's when there's an assignment due, and you can click through. But you could also see this same exact layout in a different format here. I placed all of the upcoming assignments for the week on this particular chart, and you can actually even click on them and it'll take you to the exact assignment. There's links to each one if you wanted to operate from this page. My recommendation to you is that you actually just go to each daily page on the day that you have that class. So for Monday, the 30th of March, you should click on this page, which will be available to you, and you'll see that these daily pages have everything you need for that day. Okay, the first thing that you should do every single day in both language arts and literature is take a look here in the top right corner. There is some kind of an attendance question or poll. I think in literature I put all kinds of poll questions, and in language arts there's like a chart that you will be linked to that you get to answer some more fun questions. This will allow me to see that you actually went to the page that day, and it's my way of taking attendance. You'll see that most of your teachers are doing a similar activity to this to make sure that everybody has shown up to that page each day. So first thing you should do in language arts and literature on each daily page is take attendance for yourself by answering the question. The next thing you should do is come over here to this first block called daily tasks. What I did here was lay out for you in order the steps that you should take to complete all of your work that day for language arts and also for literature. You'll see that on this Monday, a couple of the first few things are really just kind of watching the video that you might be watching right now, taking a look at the syllabus, which I'm about to walk you through, and then also watching the weekly intro videos before you actually have anything else to do. Any of the other assignments for the day will show up below, okay? And I've also left for you a checklist here at the end of your day so that you can go through and just make sure you've done all the things that you've been asked to do. If you're able to check off all of these things in your mind, then you are good for the day and you can move on, okay? Just one other thing. On this page, you'll notice that there's a discussion board, and discussion boards are kind of going to be a staple of at least literature, and then you also see them popping up in language arts. Please make sure that you do a really good job answering your questions. This is almost like if you think back to our journal questions that we've been doing all year. I expect that you answer these questions in your discussion board in the same way and taking the same care that you would have in your journal questions, writing a decent paragraph, supporting your evidence, and making sure that you keep everything school appropriate in your responses. Many of these discussion boards, I will ask you to place a response of your own and then go back and respond to 2 of your classmates' posts. And if it says that like it does here, make sure that you actually are adding to the discussion. I really want you to avoid placing comments on your classmates' posts such as very good or nice work. That doesn't really further the conversation. Here I wrote you should either agree or disagree with their arguments, and you should be sure to provide specific details to support your reasoning. Since we're not meeting on a daily basis live, these discussion board assignments are our way of being able to connect. So, if you do a really good job on them, if you respond to your classmates and then respond to any responses that are on your post, this can keep our discussions going and make this feel more like a live class. And you'll see that on this page, you can go all the way down Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Each day, make sure you just kind of check in with each of your daily tasks, and you can go through and finish them. Typically, and you should check your calendar to make sure of this, but typically your assignments for each day will be due by 4 p.m. Sometimes I give you till the next day on discussion board assignments if I ask you to respond to people. But just check your calendar to make sure what when things are due. And if you have questions, get in touch with me right away through email. I will be monitoring my email throughout the day each week, and I'll try to get back to you as quickly as I can. But keep in mind, there is a schedule for each day. It's basically your daily class schedule, and the main reason why we created a schedule like that for middle school is so that we were able to schedule live sessions that don't coincide with each other, so that I don't schedule a live session to meet with you at the same time as Mr. Burns, and things get tangled up that way. So for me, I don't really mind when or what time you decide to come to your literature and language arts page. You decide throughout the day how you want to get your work done, as long as you get your assignments done by the due date and time. That's all I'm worried about. Some of these discussion boards, for example, will close at a certain time. You won't be able to respond. And at that point, there's not much that I can really do for you in terms of making up the assignment. So make sure you stick to the calendar items that you can find on the week 1 pages, and like all the weekly pages that you see here, and on your calendar in PowerSchool. And make sure that you get those assignments done as on time and as best to the best of your ability as you can. One other thing, let's take a look at the distance learning syllabus. Like I said, I'll show you where you can find this. It's in a number of different places. It's on the distance learning page here, the very first page. You just can click on it, it'll download it. I would recommend saving it to your Google Drive so that you can always just access it in there if you need to. But it'll always be linked here if you need to pull it up. This is what it looks like. It's kind of similar to what I tried to build it off of what we already had in the class. You notice that the syllabus serves for literature and language arts. I tried to combine them to make it not so confusing, since there are 2 classes that you're in with me. Right at the top, there's my email address. It's linked. So if you ever need to get in touch with me to ask questions, tell me you have a problem with something, you have an assignment that you need more time on, make sure you do that. And don't wait till the last minute. We need to really make sure we're mindful of each other, and the fact that we're not always going to be sitting right in front of the computer to answer the question right away. It's not like we're in school. Here are the things that you'll need for both of the classes. You have your Chromebook, which you should have. Please make sure that you keep it charged up so that you can use it each day. You'll need Gmail and the Google Suite. Google Suite's that little Rubik's Cube looking thing that you can find in your Gmail that has all of your goodies, like PowerSchool and Google Meet, Hangouts, and all that stuff. These 2 things are provided by us, and you already should know how to use them. The other thing that you'll need is your Townsend Press vocabulary stuff. We're still going to use the same system that we did in school. And again, that's in your bookmarks tab on Chromebook. You should know your password should already be kind of saved in there. If for some reason you've forgotten your password or you can't log in, get in touch with me, and I will run down to school and get that list for you. You'll also need the novels that I provided before we left school. If you have not picked them up, get in touch with me and let me know, and we can arrange a time where you can come down to school and pick up these 3 books. You should definitely have To Kill a Mockingbird with you, but also Raisin in the Sun and A Midsummer Night's Dream are books that we could potentially get to if distance learning continues for more than a few weeks. These are also provided by us, like I said. So they're in my classroom right now. If you need to get them, let me know, and I will set up a time so that I can go in and retrieve them and bring them out to your car. You'll need various apps that I've provided on the different daily pages, and there's directions for each of those apps on how to sign up for them. In addition to, probably you'll get emails that will direct you to each of these apps when I start sending them out. The only thing that you need to provide for yourself is a quiet place to read, write, and focus. And it's one thing to keep in mind while everybody is working from home, including your parents, is things can get kind of complicated if you're all working in the same room, if people have different schedules or are taking breaks at different times. Try to find a place that is just your place. As you notice, I'm sitting up here in my extra room that I have in my house, where I keep all of my sporting memorabilia, because I know nobody else likes to come in here, and it's quiet. I'm not bothered by my dogs, and I can actually just sit here and talk to y'all. Let's go through the distance learning expectations, things that I expect of you. You can read through these, but just to kind of summarize for you and read a couple lines from here that are important. I tried to keep the format of literature and language arts classes as simple as possible and as close to our campus classroom as possible. However, there are some things we can never hope to duplicate, one of them being your personalities, your humor. I swear I miss that a lot. It's one of the biggest things I miss from being able to go into the classroom every day, and just being able to laugh together. So I want to challenge all of you, and these are part of my expectations, to take the simple exercises that I'm providing you with on this distance learning outline and in your on your PowerSchool pages, and try to elevate them. I say here, go the extra mile. Be as creative as you can be. Don't be afraid to offer suggestions for new ways that we can do things. Remember, I'm learning how to do this just at the same time as you, um, and it's a lot different, I'm finding, than teaching, in the classroom. So, don't be afraid to let me know if things, if you think you have an idea of ways we can do things that are more exciting, that would work better for you as a class, or that would simply, fit into your workload better. We can definitely talk about those things. You're going to see that this class, this online class, this distance learning class will start to evolve over time as I start to figure out better ways to do things, and as you start to give me suggestions. Here's as important: engage with your classmates in discussions. That's our main meeting place, y'all. If you don't do a good job answering those questions, or you just mail it in with just a 1 or 2 word answer, A, your grades are gonna reflect that, but B, the class is not going to be as interesting as it could be. It's not going to feel like we're as connected as we could be. Don't be afraid to showcase your writing talents, especially in language arts. There will be some free writes where we can post things and comment on them. And don't be afraid to read and comment on your classmates' work. And like I said here, help me learn from you. Okay, be unique, be yourself, just be. Now here's the procedure, which I kind of walked you through already. It says the PowerSchool pages for both literature and language arts are your home bases for each of these classes. Each day you should visit both pages. Click open the distance learning tab on the sidebar, and from there you can find all of the separate pages for each day of the week. Remember, I said that I'm only going to make available to you the day that you need to work on that particular day. So on Monday, March 30th, the first day we work, that's the only days tab that you'll see in there. That's all you should worry about. Okay, and then on Tuesday, you'll notice that the other day will be there for you as well. Okay, so just work on those days, on those assignments day by day. And if you do that, I think you'll find out that it'll be pretty easy to follow the assignments in this class. One other thing, I'm trying to keep our meet sessions, our live meetings, where we will meet on Google Hangouts Meet, pretty consistent so that you can count on them each week. They will be on Thursdays. I'll let you know if that changes for any reason, but plan to meet in both language arts and literature on that day. And I'll send you email invitations so that you can accept and sign up. And it'll also send you, a reminder that meeting session is beginning a few minutes before it's going to happen. You're required to come to these meetings. This is our only chance each week to actually talk to each other face to face. So make sure that you find a time. This is kind of like just being in school. So it's not like you can decide, oh, I'm not going to come to it. You should come. If you don't come, you don't get credit for the work we do that day. The other thing to remember about meet sessions is that as we first start doing them, it's going to be kind of difficult. There's going to be a lot of people in there at once. We need to make sure that we're mindful of each other. We need to make sure that we keep our mics on mute until I unmute you. And we need to make sure that we are patient because, as we learned during our Skype session with George Mason University, sometimes technology just doesn't work perfectly, but we'll get through it. We're going to try to make it as fun as possible. Typically during our Google Meet sessions, we will discuss some kind of topic in literature, whatever book we're reading. We might just use it as a chance to read together, which we haven't been able to do for a while. Just be able to kind of discuss the reading in a normal literature way. In language arts, we'll probably learn how to write something. I'll teach you some kind of lesson. And then each of those sessions will probably end with some kind of Kahoot, or if I figure out how to play vocabulary basketball again virtually, something to that effect. But the main thing I want you to think about throughout the week are questions that you might have, whether they're questions about how to use the technology, problems that you're having, questions about the material that you've come across. Come armed with those questions at the beginning of class, at the beginning of our live sessions each week. I'll open it up for a few minutes for you to ask those questions and for me to answer them so that we can move forward as simply as possible. Okay, so make sure that Thursdays you're ready. Here's how your grades will be tabulated. The percentages are basically the same as they were in class. think I might have bumped the homework percentage up a few points, just because this is basically the work that I'm sending you home. And I put quotes around home here because you're obviously going to be home doing this, but these are the daily assignments that I expect that you complete each day. Make sure that you get them done. It counts for a pretty decent amount of your grade. And as far as quizzes, we will still take vocabulary, grammar, some reading spot checks, and those will be done through PowerSchool. We've taken quizzes in PowerSchool before, so you kind of know how to do this. On the day of that quiz, you'll see a link to the quiz on that day's page. Okay, and also the same thing for tests. Like when we finish To Kill a Mockingbird, we'll have an end of book test. When we finish the 3 chapters of vocabulary we have left, we'll have a 50-word test on that. So I will provide a link on the day of that test on the PowerSchool page for that day. Rough drafts of written assignments that we work on, they could also be counted as quiz grades. I might ask you to post a portion or your entire rough draft in one of the discussion boards so that we can take a look at it and peer edit and make comments on it, kind of like how we did in class. But we're largely going to still continue to use the Google Docs system. So anytime you do a written draft, and even if you're going to post it into PowerSchool, even if you're going to post it into the discussion boards on PowerSchool, please make sure you save that in your Google Docs, and then also share it with me so that I can go in there and read it, same way that we did in class. And then the final thing, we have projects. I'm going to try to create some opportunities to do some things in collaboration with each other. One of those is an opportunity to do some independent reading, and any of the final drafts of your papers, which you'll hand in the same way you did when we were back on campus through Google Docs, will also count as project grades. Participation, it's required that you check into PowerSchool every day for each of the pages, for language arts and for literature on that day's page. So for Monday 3:30, you should go to the Monday 3:30 page for literature and language arts on PowerSchool. And the way that I'll know you did that is that A, you've handed in your assignments for the day, but that B, you've also filled out the attendance poll or question that I've left for you. Okay, do not forget to do that each day. The main way that you've gone, that's basically you coming to class. And then the only exception to that, with you deciding when you want to come to the class each day, is on Thursdays when we have live sessions. Remember, they are mandatory. Make sure you get in touch with me if there's some kind of reason that you're not going to be able to be there, so I can share with you the session. I might even try to record those sessions so you can watch them later on. Daily tasks, you can kind of read that here. This kind of gives you an idea of how the assignments, or how the homework assignments, the classwork assignments, will be graded. If you look right here. Okay, let me just go through that with you. It says each assignment in both language arts and literature will be worth 5 points. That's what they've always been worth. So they're going to continue to be worth that. The main difference is that when we were on campus, I would mostly give you 5 out of 5 for just completing the assignment, and then we would discuss it in class. Since we don't have the opportunity to go through those assignments, instead you will get 3 points just for completion. And then you can get up to an additional 2 more points depending on the quality and the depth of your work. So if you just completed it and I think you just didn't do a great job, you just slapped it together, you'll get a 3 out of 5. Over time, that'll start to take away from your homework average or your classwork average, whatever you're going to call it, and that'll affect your grade. If you do a really good job, the best possible job you could have done, answered your questions in depth, and did a good job of responding to your classmates, 5 out of 5. If I think you're somewhere in between, 4 out of 5. If you don't complete it at all, or if you only complete portions, it can go down below 3, all the way down to a 0. Okay, so keep that in mind. It says here, late assignments will only be accepted at my discretion and through a student's request by way of email. You know that I'm pretty lenient about late assignments when we were on campus, because it's easy for you to be able to hand things in to me in person. It'll be much more complicated to do that using this system. So do not make a lot of situations where you have late assignments coming in. If you think that you need extra time on something, send me an email right away and we will talk about it, and I will let you know if I accept that reason. So make sure you work each day and get ahead of the game. Tests and quizzes, they'll be scored out of 100. Like I said, they'll be pretty much all given to you on PowerSchool. And the good news about that is that they'll pretty much be graded for you as soon as you finish taking it, unless there's a written question on there that I have to go back in to grade. But basically, you'll get your grades back pretty quickly. And then projects, same way, make sure you hand them in via Google Docs. And I'll let you go through and read the rest of this. But it's basically the same kind of policies and procedures that we had in class. So hopefully that kind of sums up this class for you, helps you understand a little bit about how this works and how to go through it. If you wind up having any problems as you go through, which inevitably will happen because, you know, this is something new for all of us, just make sure you email me. You know, don't be afraid to reach out. And the last thing I'll leave you with, which you'll hear me repeat in the weekly videos, is just make sure we operate on a feeling of patience for each other. You know that it's going to be a little bit of a stretch for us to understand how this is going to all work and how it's all going to come together, but we're all pretty intelligent people. You know, we know how to do things, and I feel like we'll be able to figure all this out as we go through. And in fact, I feel like it's going to be a pretty good opportunity for us to learn some new to learn to go about things in a new way, to maybe even go deeper into subject matter than we've ever have gone before, and even for me to learn some new things from you all. So I'm looking forward to it. Be in touch if you need anything, and I'm looking forward to our meetings on Thursday to finally have a chance to see you all in person, kind of, and to hear your voices. Hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and good luck with your first day of school on Monday.